Okay, let's now get into the book. I set my challenge to read 30 books in 2021 and I wasn't sure I could do it, to be honest, but I ended up reading 42. Are you kidding me? It's approximately 14,826 books and I'm gonna share the top 10 books that I just loved to read, freaking geeked over. Starting with one that I read in January, which you've probably heard me talk about before if you are not new to my channel. It's called A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling about this girl named Feyre. Feyre kills a wolf, but it turns out that wolf is not any ordinary wolf. It is a fairy wolf, and humans are not supposed to kill fairies. If a human kills a fairy, then the human gets punished. So the fairies find out that Feyre killed their fairy wolf, and she has to go live in the fairy realm for the rest of her life. How awesome is that? If you can see on my bookshelf, I have... Yes, we get it. You have all the books in the series. All of those books are deliciously good. And these books are X-rated, folks. I don't want you reading this so then your parents be like, what is that? And you being like, Berta told me to read it. Okay, listen. I warned you before you got the book, okay? They're X-rated. They got sex in them. It's a good time. The next book that I was absolutely obsessed with is The House in the Cerulean Sea. I read this one starting July 11th, and this equates to eating a delicious warm chocolate chip cookie and dipping it in milk and watching your favorite gay show wrapped in a gay blanket. This book is about this guy named Linus Baker, and he essentially lives the same boring day every single day. He's always wanted to go out and vacation, but he never does. Anyways, he is summoned by the extremely upper management building to go on this crazy magical quest, which involves 6 very dangerous magical children. And it's a good time, guys. My synopsis will never, ever do this book justice, so let's just leave it at that. Here's a book I read shortly after. This is called Bunheads. I really don't think that this book has the ratings that it should have. Pretty sure this is slept on. Either that or there's just a certain connection me and this book have. I was a former dancer, so I know all the terms in this book, and I know the life that she lives in this book. It's about this girl named Hannah, and she is a ballerina, but she tries to balance life between being a ballerina and living a normal life. And being a ballerina, you just can't live a normal life. She meets this guy named Jacob. That's it. That's literally it. Oh my gosh, she meets a guy named Jacob, and Jacob is freaking dreamy, okay? Jacob is dreamy. She wants to have a normal romance life, but on the other hand, she also wants to be a soloist. Here's another spicy book called The Deal by Elle Kennedy. This is about a girl named Hannah Wells. Hannah Wells is super smart. She wants to get her crush's attention. Her crush's name is Justin. Justin is a very popular athletic guy. There's another main character in this story named Garrett Graham, and Garrett Graham comes in whenever he fails his test, and he needs someone to tutor him to make up the test, and he targets Hannah Wells because he notices that she's the only one in the class that made a good grade. Garrett Graham is the captain of the hockey team, and if he doesn't get a good grade on this test, it could plummet his GPA and ruin his hockey career. So he needs Hannah to tutor him. Hannah is like, I'll tutor you if you help me get my crush's attention, because they're both athletes. Oh my gosh. This is a spicy, spicy, spicy book. I was born sick, but I love it. I have all the books in this series. I've read The Deal, The Mistake, and The Score. I haven't read The Goal yet, but I'm sure it's gonna be just as good as all the other ones. Next, I'm gonna talk about a book called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. Digital Minimalism is a non-fiction book, pretty much giving you tips on how to put your cell phone away and just use it for purpose rather than boredom. A life of minimalizing technology, and it is brilliant. The next book I read, which was in October, is called Modern Romance by Aziz Ansari. This is probably my favorite, my #1 favorite nonfiction I've ever read in my life. This is about modern romance, and there's a lot of stats on like how romance has changed throughout the years. There's a lot about monogamy, there's a lot about different parts of the world and how they view romance. You could tell he did so much research and he put a lot of work into this book, but he is also hilarious. He made my freaking month, I swear. I read The Christmas Box. I read this all in less than 48 hours. It was so good. It's about this guy and his wife and their kid who are just like dirt poor completely. They find a newspaper with like an ad to work for a lady that lives in a mansion. So whenever they go in for an interview, the lady explains that they'll be doing her laundry and doing her lawn work in exchange for a nice home. During the move-in, the guy finds a Christmas box, and this Christmas box holds a lot of secrets and magic. This book had me bawling. When I tell you, I was on my lunch break eating a burrito and bawling my eyes out. burritos and crying don't go together, but like for some reason this book made it go together. In November again, I read The Shadows Between Us by Tricia Levenseller. Woo! Let's just start off by saying this is a gorgeous book. Look at that cover. Let me just read the first sentence for you. This is probably the best first sentence that I've ever read in a book. They've never found the body of the first and only boy who broke my heart, and they never will. I buried Hector Galenus in a hole so deep, even the devils of the earth couldn't reach him. She killed him. She didn't only kill him, she murdered this man. So, this is about a girl that tries to seduce a Shadow King in order to kill the Shadow King and take over the land. This is deliciously evil. We love a badass female main character. We love it. Next up, we have Homebody by Rupi Kaur. I love Rupi Kaur's work. I read Milk and Honey, I read The Sun and Her Flowers, and I noticed that she has a newest one, Homebody, that I've never heard of, but she published it back in 2020. I was hooked from the start. This is broken into sections: Mind, Heart, Rest, and Awake. I highlighted the hell out of this book. Like the living hell out of it. They dig deep into your soul and they just do something to your body. We love it. And the last one is the most recent read in my last read of the year, which is Black Nerd Problems. I'm obsessed with this book. This is probably my second favorite nonfiction book that I've ever read in my life. It's by Will Evans and Omar Holman. I'm obsessed. Like, I fell in love with both of them simultaneously. How does one fall in love with two people at once? Tell me how that works. But I got the audiobook in this, and I really highly suggest the audiobook because you get to hear them just be passionate about every little thing. They're geeked, bro. There's a lot of things about like gun violence, Black Lives Matter that they incorporate into their nerdiness, which is magical. There's chapters that I knew about, like Disney, and then there's some other things that I didn't know, like Game of Thrones and anime. But they explain what they're talking about before they start talking about it, and they use such humor. It made me laugh so much. It made me cry as well. I learned a lot while reading this one. It was so good. Thank you guys so much for watching. That was my top 10 books of 2021. Let me know if you're reading any books right now in the comments down below. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.